Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video on Bitcoin because it is crashing and burning, and everyone's freaking out. And it's honestly just a macro environment thing. Something's happening with global markets, with this whole Evergrande news. We all know that this is Bitcoin's price, big candle down, and even continuing downward even further. And now 42,000. I don't have it marked on here, but 42K was a supposed to be a big support level. Clearly, we have broken through that quite a bit. The next one we're looking at is 39,600-ish, around there, and around the 39,000 level. And that would be the model that all like these on-chain analysts and what on-chain is showing. That would be the floor for what the price should be right now. So we'll see if that holds. I think we will probably come down to 39 here. Even if it's just a wick down, we will come down near that level, maybe even a little bit under, just because we overshoot all the time, and then come back and kind of trade sideways and do a little recovery, because this pattern is looking like a small Wyckoff accumulation thing again, like we had back here. But first of all, TA, I don't think TA is a big deal. It's not something that I would ever base things off of. I always go off fundamentals and how things look. Fundamentally, nothing's changed for Bitcoin. Looking at this previous Wyckoff pattern, what everyone called a Wyckoff pattern, Wyckoff pattern, however you want to say it, you had this, pump up to one point, and then come here, second point, third point, and then this fell, and then came up to the fourth point, which was lower. And you see like losing steam. It wasn't going like this point to this point was a massive jump, but then these 3 points are pretty close together, not really pushing it too far up. And we'll zoom in a little bit for this. It's the same thing here. You see this like pump here to this point, and then this point, number 2, number 3, and then you have a fall coming up to number 4, where it's a lower high than what was previous, into this little dump. So a mini Wyckoff type of pattern here would mean we'd probably go down to this 39,000. Maybe even, I think people are talking about a 37,000 would be what this like pattern scopes out to be, which would invalidate the on-chain stuff saying 39 is the floor. But right now, I would be looking at, coming down to this 39,000 level, and probably going a little bit further, wicking under, and then coming back up, and probably trading sideways like we did in this period, trading kind of sideways and maybe a little down. People get bearish, people complain, they start to hate the crypto market and Bitcoin, and oh my God, it's a scam, it's a bear market, all this, and then a recovery here. And I think we might see that play out. And since the pattern's a little bit smaller than what this was, maybe instead of like 3 months that this was, we probably get it in, a month, and see this like recovery play out. I don't think anybody has changed their thoughts on Bitcoin, 6 figures this cycle. I think that we could be entering super cycle, meaning the bear market isn't going to be that bad, and it's going to be a slower grind up to the next halving, and then that could be what we see playing out this with this move and everything going on. It's not Bitcoin's fault, really, that this is happening. It's a macro thing where Evergrande and the collapse of that and people freaking out globally about that is causing this. And we can see that with Bitcoin's hash rate, because nothing changed with Bitcoin's hash rate. People coming to the network, mining Bitcoin and adding hash power. It's still recovering, doing very nicely. It's still trending up and is going to what looks like it'll probably reach this 150 level here and try and go up and make a new all-time high with the hash rate. And that's more fundamentals of Bitcoin. If this happened and the hash rate fell, people were leaving Bitcoin, stopping mining, doing all of that stuff, then that would be a worse sign for Bitcoin. But that's not happening. People are more than ever trying to come back on the network, trying to start mining again. So the fundamentals, on-chain stuff, people that were selling and the transactions that came through were from people who held Bitcoin. It was like less than a week or 2 weeks. They were very young coins with people who were more likely speculating or not long-term holders. And this chart actually shows that someone went through and got all this stuff, and it's 96.8% of all Bitcoin volume transacted on chain in yesterday's September 20th flush was less than or equal to 1 week old. So the majority of this volume was from people who were just been in, or coins that were just purchased within a week, less than or equal to a week. So the last week. 99% of yesterday's volume was no more than 3 months old, bought after June 20th. The only users selling on chain now are newbies and normies. No alarm bells have been rung yet. So again, we're in the same thing, the same boat. Fundamentally, for Bitcoin, nothing has changed. Biggest thing is that someone in, or a company in China is collapsing, and a lot of people are scared, nervous, and worried, and that affects all, global markets, literally everybody. But fundamentally, on Bitcoin's core, the people who believe in Bitcoin, not selling, not scared of it. And I think that we will see a rush to Bitcoin should Evergrande collapse and the Chinese government doesn't bail them out, and we see big ripple effects. I think there'll be a rush to Bitcoin and even gold for, like mismanagement of money and not being able to really trust what's going on in companies, especially overseas and stuff. So I think there'd be a big run-in for Bitcoin and gold, as well as a lot of companies use to be diversified. They would use Chinese real estate to get out of like U.S. markets, so they could be diversified into the world global markets. Because Chinese real estate was supposed to be very safe, very stable, and not risky. And clearly, we see that didn't work out. And I think a lot of these people, institutions, and companies will look towards Bitcoin as a way to diversify, because Bitcoin's a global asset. It's not owned by a country. So it's a way that a lot of these companies can diversify, stay diversified, and not have to worry about a collapse in Bitcoin itself. Yes, the price can go down and have huge fluctuations, but Bitcoin itself, the network, is not going to collapse in one day. It's just not going to happen. And we all knew coming into September, it was a weak month for stocks and crypto and Bitcoin both. This is a chart of the Bitcoin monthly stuff, and you can see September here of the last, since 2013. There has been only 2 green months for the last, 8 years. That is normal. We see that September is a weak month for Bitcoin. September is a weak month for the stock market. Everyone went in knowing that, and I think that's a big reason to why you don't see people who are, these older long-term holders selling Bitcoin right now. They know that they were expecting a weak month, a negative month. They weren't expecting it to be green like the Julys or even the Octobers, November and December. Even these next 3 months are historically very good for Bitcoin. People could be looking towards that. And just looking towards this margin data, the longs really exploded. This is up like almost 2 or 3,000 in just one day, and the shorts up 20%, up a lot as well. So it's just a weird position. I think we see, look at this volatility, the price changing every 2.5 milliseconds. But this increase, super shoot up in longs with another shoot up in shorts as well. It kind of makes it seem like nobody really knows what to expect. No one's betting on Bitcoin going down only and betting on Bitcoin going up only. Markets, or people who are in these margin in longs and shorts, kind of split on their decision. And we'll end this video off with Michael Saylor's tweet talking about, in the long run, it won't matter if the price of Bitcoin was 0.01, 0.03, or $0.05 million when you bought it. So that would be $10,000, $30,000, $50,000. And he is insinuating that Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I think it definitely will go to $1 million. And if you know Hal Finley and all of the early people in Bitcoin, even they talked about $10 million per Bitcoin and how they marked it out and everything. And it's pretty interesting and makes a lot of sense. So we look to be on that way. Long-term outlooks win. Short-term, things like Evergrande, this news, speculators, margin, leverage, all these things that are completely out of your control and out of Bitcoin and the fundamentals and the network's control can fluctuate the price a lot. But long term, fundamentals always take over. That works for stocks, crypto, anything, real estate, even. Fundamentals, the basic and the backbone of the asset, take over long term in value. As always, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Bitcoin looking healthy fundamentally. The price might be scaring people, but it's not scaring the people who are long term holders and believers in what Bitcoin can do. So, as always, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next video.